Welcome to another episode of Father Sunny Interviews here at hapipadi. I want to welcome you all to an interview that I would like to conduct with a deacon from Mexico who is going to be ordained tomorrow, and his name is Deacon Nestor Sanchez. Deacon Nestor,
thanks for your invitation.
We are very excited here at St. John Paul II Parish, where Deacon Nestor has spent his diaconate internship during this past year, as he prepares now for ordination, and we are going to be a witness as a community to this very momentous day, this weekend of his life, where he transforms or where he changes from being a deacon to becoming a full-fledged priest for the Diocese of Joliet here in Illinois. So, how are you?
Fine, well, thanks. Very good. A little anxious about tomorrow.
It's normal. It's normal to have those butterflies in the tummy. It's normal to feel a little kind of sense of anticipation, a combination of excitement and a feeling of like a heightened sense of awareness of what's going on, or maybe even just nervousness. It could be all kinds of different things put together.
Or maybe all the feelings
coming together.
coming together at some point.
Yes. When did you start feeling the sense of like, this is now happening? When did it begin to sink into you that, oh my goodness, I have only like this time now to become before getting ordained?
I don't know. Maybe just 1 week ago, when the other things I have to fix. For example, when my parents were coming, and when I received them at the airport, at that moment I realized that, oh my goodness,
it's happening.
This is happening now. So
when family arrives, you know something big is happening.
Yeah, that's right.
So how are you having your family here from Mexico? Because Deacon Nestor is from
close to Mexico City.
Close to Mexico City in Mexico. So your family traveled here from Mexico City. That's not a long travel, is it? It's
4 hours.
A 4-hour flight. So it's comfortable and convenient. Thank God that they received the proper visa to be able to come to the nation. We were even praying for that, because the possibility that they cannot come to the United States, there's always that, but we're happy to know that they will be able to share with you this very special moment. They'll be there at the cathedral tomorrow. So yes. So that was one moment, like when they started to show up here, and you were like, oh, that's right, I'm getting ordained soon.
Yeah. When you think about it, it's like, oh my goodness. You imagine how the mass is gonna be, and maybe some details.
Right.
And I think we worry too much about the little details, that which position or what is the proper that kind of things. But I'm trying to just relax. Yeah.
Yes, the best thing to do is just kind of let go and just enjoy the ride, huh? Just enjoy the ride of getting ordained. What are you most excited about with the actual ordination, the actual mass tomorrow? What are you anticipating? Because I mean, you have served the ordination masses in the past as a seminarian, then as a priest, as a deacon last year. You helped out in the ordination, of course.
I did.
So you've seen other men get ordained into the priesthood. So what would be like something that you are anticipating to go through on the ordination tomorrow?
I think the litany of the saints, when I am prostrate
on the ground.
I think that moment is like very significant for consecration, because I'm sure I did last year in my diaconate ordination, and you think many things when you are laying down in the floor. Maybe all your life is in one scene. Or I think that moment is very special. Because people, at the moment, all the people is praying for you. The entire people in the cathedral is praying for you.
And the communion of saints, all the saints are praying at that moment too. So it's like the whole church is unified in this one moment in time, when you are there on the ground, face down into the ground, and you're completely surrendering everything to God.
Yes.
I mean, that moment of self-oblation, they say, right? You're giving everything to God, and so at that moment, you're there. You have to think about, well, what is this now that's happening here? Right? Yeah. So you're looking forward to that experience of what it's like to surrender, submit yourself completely to be.
Yeah, I think in that moment is when you say completely, yes, Lord, here I am.
You're there.
Yeah.
Are you there? Are you ready to give a surrender?
Yeah. I have to do it.
Deacon, what is when you look at your life from when you were a child to where you are today as a deacon to be ordained tomorrow, what about your life in the past? How many years? 30.
Before my entering the Padre
Yeah, just in general, your life in the past, how many 30 something years?
33.
33 years. What of those years do you look back to that is helping you today to make the choice to surrender yourself to the Lord in ordination? Is there something in the past that encouraged you about this, what you're doing right now?
I think I was in a religious community, and in that kind of communities there are some different stages of the formation, and I remember the first year that for me was very, very, very stressful, because I was in crisis, like, oh my goodness, maybe this is not my vocation, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm gonna leave next Sunday the community. I don't want to be here. But for some reason I didn't. And when I received my cassock to enter in the novitiate, like immediately all that fears and feelings disappeared.
Wow.
But all that year was like, oh my God, no, I want to go home now, or that kind of feelings. But when I entered to the novitiate, all that disappeared.
Calm down.
Yeah, like magic.
Wow.
All my doubts and fears disappeared. I think that special year was like who strengthened me to continue and to keep doing it. Yeah.
Good walking the path. So that's an extraordinary outpouring of grace. To say that you transitioned so quickly from the anxiety, the wanting to leave, the sense of turmoil going on within you, and just as you received that first garb that would set you apart in some way, was a good encouragement, and it calmed you down, and it made you more, at peace to move forward. And
I think that year
that's grace.
Taught me to trust more in God.
To trust more in the Lord. Wow, listen to that. The deacon is trusting more in the Lord. I think in everything that people do anyway, isn't that like a general thing that makes sense for everyone? That the more we learn to trust the Lord and not to micromanage our own life and our decisions, the more we try to surrender and let God be God. Let Him do the job, right? The more we are like that, the more at peace we are with ourselves and where we are in our own life, knowing that the Lord will kind of guide us along the way, whatever it is that He's leading us to do. So that's great. You have an opportunity to be a deacon for 1 year. You were ordained a deacon when?
On March 26th last year.
Last year. So you have been a deacon for more than 1 year at this point.
Yeah.
Amazing. That's great to have a full year of diaconal experience. And you were assigned here at St. John Paul II in Kankakee. It's a community that is bilingual, in fact, multicultural in every aspect of it. You have experienced many things here in St. John Paul II. What about your time at the diaconate? What is that 1 year? How does that help you prepare to become a priest? What is that diaconate year all about? Transitional diaconate at that.
Well, I think here in this parish, it's special because it's a very, very good community. Of course, the community has some things that we have to deal with or work on it. But for me, has taught me how to do my pastoral ministry. You are a very good teacher for me, Father Sonny. You know what it is. He's a very good teacher. Father John Haran. And I think I was watching in your job or how to treat the people, how to be a good pastor. And I think all this year, this experience of 1 year here is unusual here in the diocese because I finished my theology studies 6 months before.
Yes.
So I had
the privilege.
The privilege. I had the opportunity to be here more than other deacons. So that time has been awesome for me and has taught me many things.
And you have been really well loved in this community as well. What stands out? Like what of the experiences that you've had as a deacon here stands out for you as an amazing experience, or something that will give you an encouragement for your future as a priest or deacon?
Well, there are many things, but
sure.
I think that one of the most special and powerful things that we did together was the mission in Lent. I love that experience because that allowed me to preach, to teach, and I don't know, to discover more how have to do the things in the parish. And the 3 days of that time was like amazing.
To feel empowered to be a teacher. How do you feel that is really one of the gifts? I'm seeing that about you, but do you think that teaching and preaching is going to be really one of your strengths in your ministry as a priest?
I hope. I love that, preach and teach. So I hope that my job has been good during this time here with the groups, the Bible courses that I did here. Sure. So
yes, it's a good thing because I mean I saw you in your capacity, in your best when you were doing these teaching ministries that you did over the course of the year here at JP2. So I do feel that perhaps that's a gift that you have, and
thank you.
And I think the Lord will always use that particularly that gift of teaching. You know? So amazing, very good. So what are you looking forward to about tomorrow? We will be called a new name. You will be called Father Nestor Sanchez. Exciting. So tomorrow you are a new human being. You are a new person because you will become the priest of Jesus Christ tomorrow. So what are you looking forward most about the priesthood? Well, you kind of insinuated about preaching and teaching, but as you go through this, what can you imagine yourself? What are the things that you would like to maybe perhaps focus your attention in your ministry as a priest?
I don't know. Preaching has shown me the power of God's word and how people change their life. And one of the most things that I like is confession. To reconcile people with God. Because sometimes people could say, okay, I am guilty, I feel guilty for my sins, but they don't go to confession, right? So that part of the ministry is one of the things that most
attracts you?
Attracts me. Yeah.
Wow.
Heal the people in soul.
And
the soul, giving the absolution, saying, go in peace.
Well, he has not had that experience yet. As a deacon, you've had the ability to do baptisms. You could have also done a wedding. I don't know if you've had experienced that. You could preside in a funeral, really. There are many things that you could really do, but in all the things that you have done, definitely confession is something that you have not done because that's reserved to the priesthood. So I can imagine that that's something that you can maybe perhaps anticipate with great expectations. So I can imagine that that's something that's going to be special. So when you look back at your life now, moving into the future, what are you most grateful for? What are you most grateful for as a human being in your life as you now come to this pivotal moment of your vocation?
I don't know. I think the passion that God has given me. I don't know. At the beginning, when I met people, sometimes I am a little shy with them. But then when I know more them, like I am like okay, this is who I am. Take me, or I don't know.
Take it or leave it.
Yeah, exactly. I like to show myself as truly I am.
So the passion, you're grateful that you're given the passion and the ability to show who you really are to other people, right?
Yeah, I always try to be honest and clear with the people, and I think has been working so far.
Right, and it's amazing because I think part of the passion is maybe who you already are, because the passion is partly what God is giving you, but also what you're doing with what you have been given. So I think the passion is there because you have really made a decision that this is what you would like to do as a human being with your life, that this is the path that you are choosing to respond to the call of Jesus, and that's not easy, is it? That's not an easy thing to do, especially our world today that's very, very, very much distracted by other voices of invitation in the world out there. So maybe one question I have is, what would be your message to maybe some of our young people or some men out there who might be discerning the priesthood, who might be thinking about the priesthood? Is there any advice that you could give them today that might be helpful for them to discern also how they could become passionate and responding to God?
The message is, don't be afraid of the call of God, because if we avoid or reject the call of God or His plan, we can be happy. We can be really, really happy. So if you are feeling that, oh, maybe God is calling me, or I would like to know more about this kind of life, the priesthood life or religious life, don't be afraid. Go to some priest or religious or nun and ask. Don't be afraid. I think that is the key of our life. Don't be afraid to say yes to God.
To not be afraid to say yes, because God is in control after all. Huh? That's amazing. That's awesome. That's fun. That's privilege. Do you is there anything that you're afraid of about, or maybe anxious about with the priesthood that because you said do not be afraid, but the fact of the matter is that yes, there's part of us that's trusting and surrendering to the Lord, but then at the back of our mind sometimes we're like, oh, I wonder how it would be like if I get to that situation. Is there anything at all that you're kind of not afraid about, but wondering about, maybe? Like,
as human beings, we have limits and effects, right? And now, one of my little worries is like my language, the English language. I have to learn more. I need to be more confident speaking English, because I know I need to improve so much to can communicate properly with people, or to can say the full message. Because sometimes when I preach in English, I feel like, oh, I would like to say more, but my limitation, vocabulary or ideas is like, oh my gosh, that thing is like, oh. And now I'm going to one parish which is on the English masses in Shorewood.
Yes, for those of you that do not know, Deacon Nestor, once he gets ordained a priest, he is not actually being assigned to a parish that has Hispanic community in it or any Mexican community. He is going to be assigned to a parish that is predominantly Anglo-Saxon community. So he will be assigned in an all English-speaking parish where all the masses that they do there are English. So there's a little bit of an inhibition,
maybe not worry about anxious,
and maybe anxiousness about it, and to learn more the language, very important. Deacon Nestor and myself are both from another country, and we come to this country, have been called to come to this country to minister to the people of this country. And yes, there are certain things that happen like that, maybe language, if not culture, if not, sometimes just the differences in the way people are, or sometimes the environment, the snow, or whatever challenges we face as we transition to become a priest of the diocese or the community that we are being called to serve. There is there's going to be some kind of an adjustment you have to make, and the area where you wanna really improve it. The good thing is that you're aware right away that this is you need to work on, and I think I have a feeling that in its proper time, as you continue to use the language and as you continue to challenge yourself to engage that one task of your proficiency in the language, the English language, it will come to you because you're gifted, you're smart, and you are a teacher. I think that you are able. You're in the long run. I think in its own time, you will be able to make that even more effective for you. And I already know that you are able to connect now in the English language because I've seen you do your homily and people are smiling and people nodding. So
at least they understand.
They know the message. They understand the message. So now it's really just a matter of again refining that maybe, and that's a good goal. You know, it's a realistic goal to develop that, to continue to develop that, to become more effective, because I have seen you preach and teach in Spanish, and my goodness, maybe that's a goal for you, right? That to be able to, however you do it in Spanish, to be able to do it in exactly the same quality and level of proficiency and effectivity as you do it in English. You're gonna just fly high and do a lot of amazing things. I think that'll happen in time, in due time. Anything else?
I think just that. To meet people, to be a good priest. We have a school there, and let's see. We will see at the moment.
That's true. Okay, well, I have to say, because I know him. I know him enough to know that that I share some of the challenges that can be faced in the priesthood. For example, keeping a balanced life.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah, that can be hard. I mean, he sees how we run around here in the parish to serve the people of God and address a lot of different kinds of needs and demands, and people need to talk to Father Sonny or to Father John, and we're always running around to make sure to respond to as many as we can. So and on top of that, we still have to balance our prayer life. We have a prayer life to uphold and to protect and pray and really live out. And then, of course, you need to be healthy. So how are you planning?
As I said,
how are you planning to balance your life in your priesthood? Maybe that's a fair question. I think it's a good question.
Yeah, I think that is very important, not to be absorbed for the activity in the parish. I know that I have to have time to pray, to do exercise. I need to do exercise. I need time to do my ministry in the parish. I need time for my friends. I need time for relax too. But I need to integrate all the things in one plan, in one single day, and 1 week, and 1 month. And I think doing that regularly gonna be like a habit, right? I need to do this. I have my time for this, and not to spend too much time in one thing and forget something, or not be aware about another things of the parish. So I know that responsibility too.
Yeah.
Because I have learned from you.
It's a challenge. It can be a real challenge. It's a real challenge to be able to balance all of that together, and it can be crazy for sure. And so that's why you have to be intentional about making sure that you're keeping that balance in your life in order to stay healthy. Right? That's good. What are the things that you like doing that you feel that you might be able to continue to do as a priest? I mean, I'm talking about hobbies, for example. What are the things that you like to do?
Well, Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones
is gone, so I need to find another good series. that was.
He follows the Game of Thrones religiously. Honestly.
I can't forget my prayers, but not that's true. So
yeah. What else after Game of Thrones? What now?
That is the question. Yeah, no, I think I like to watch series. In my free time, or watch videos, run. And yeah, I think.
Ron, do you play any type of sports?
I like soccer, but here it's not common, the sport. It's more football or baseball.
Right,
But I like to play soccer too, so maybe in the parish.
You can start a soccer team in the parish.
Yeah, I can start a team, yeah. There is no team, let's start one.
That's right, why not, right? You'll always make an initiative depending on your interests, so that's good. Do you feel that you will have enough time to go visit Mexico, or on your maybe vacation days? Is that something you would do? Go back to mom and dad, visit Mexico?
Yeah, I think definitely gonna do that during vacations. And friends here too in the States, and I have some friends in other parts in the country, so to spend time with them, but definitely with my family. I know we have to have a strong relation with them, especially with my parents, because 14 years ago I left the house and I don't see them regularly. So that time that I have vacations every year, so my plan is to go and spend that time with them and all my family, my brothers, nephews, nieces, uncles.
This might be a curious question for a lot of people. How does family come into play with the forming of a vocation to the priesthood? How did your family influence your vocation as a priest?
Well, they have too much to say in this vocation, because my mom and my dad too, they are in charge of the church in Mexico. The system is a little different than here. We have a chapel in the town, and the main parish is in another town, but the priest is in charge of 7 or 6 churches at a time. He goes only for Sundays, but my mom is in charge of clean the chapel, set the thing like sacristan. When the paternal feast is coming, she does all the things that to prepare the paternal feast.
Incredible.
Yeah.
So did you grow up seeing your parents help in the church?
Yeah, all the time.
All the time. My goodness, my mom is the same. She's also very much involved in our chapel, in the barrio where the priest serves only, to come and visit on Sundays. So maybe the setup in Mexico is more similar to the Philippines.
Yeah, I think so.
Amazing. So that's a good. See, I tell you, I think there's a lot of this that really happens. It's like the family is truly the seedbed of vocation. So when the parents are very connected and involved, and they could model for their children a sense of love of God and dedication to the church of Jesus, the church of God, and also the love of service, the children imbibe and children learn by the witness of the parents. So it's very, very important. Maybe we should encourage the parents of the children to make sure to teach your children how it's done. To teach your children how it is to live out the faith, how to have passion for the faith, how to love God, how to serve the church, how to be an awesome Christian. And I think it will pass. It will somehow rub off to the children one way or the other. It becomes a foundation in our lives. So, wow, mamá, papá, muchas gracias por todo que hicieron por nuestro diácono que va a ser sacerdote mañana. Muchas gracias. So, thank your parents that in many ways and honor them today also as you become ready for ordination tomorrow. So I'm very excited then that they see, and I hope that they know that your vocation to the priesthood is probably a fruit.
Definitely is a fruit
of their own faith, their own living faith. That's amazing. Very, very encouraging. So, yes, you're from Mexico, and actually in our diocese we do have a lot of Mexican communities. There's a lot of Hispanic communities, Latino communities everywhere. We are probably one of those dioceses in all of the United States that has a good number of Hispanics that we serve in our communities. And Deacon Nestor, obviously, who's going to be Father Nestor tomorrow, is one of the Mexican men that are going to serve the needs of the Hispanic community. How important is that for you to serve your own people from Mexico, one way or the other?
I think it's important because sometimes Mexican community, Latin community in general, they love the priests. They have too much respect to them, and sometimes they are afraid to approach to one priest that maybe they don't have maybe the same culture or the same nationality. Mm-hmm. And I think if I can give them the confidence and trust to approach to me and speak or whatever, I think that is one of my goals too. And obviously to be more involved with my own culture and faith, because every country or people has his own unique or way to express their faith. So
Guadalupe, Nuestro Señor de los Lagos, and this is actually Jesus Christ from the Distrito Federal, from Mexico City. Oh, see, those are all like symbols of your own country. This one is also from Mexico, right there. So you got everything Mexico here. See, this is Mexican Bible for holy water. Yes, a very, very rich culture. Mexico is one of those countries in the world that Catholicism is so rich. It's been nourished by the blood of the martyrs. It's covered and protected by the patronage of the Blessed Virgin Mary, Our Lady of Guadalupe. It is founded by the Spaniards of the West of Europe, and established in many ways as a front, as a strong, as we say, as a strong tradition that really is formidable in many ways, very strong, formidable kind of influence to culture and to society, especially in Mexico even today. So I'm a witness to that. And so, what are the things that you're proud of about being a Mexican priest? Your tamales, maybe?
Yeah, maybe tamales, tacos, pancita, the food.
Okay, we're talking Catholic here. So what are the things about being Catholic that you're proud of as a Mexican priest?
I think the love of Virgen de Guadalupe that Mexicans
solid.
Yeah, sometimes it's like, oh my goodness, all for the Virgencita,
True.
Yeah, I think
very much.
That express of faith for me always has been like, maybe some people don't go all the year to the church, but on 12 de diciembre,
they will be there.
They go.
They'll fill the church.
Exactly.
Very much fill the church. So, well, wow, amazing. I think you might want to take this time to address our Hispanic brothers and sisters out there. Maybe is there any message you want to convey to our Mexican Hispanic brothers and sisters? You can speak it in Spanish, and maybe we'll have it translated and that subtitle, so for people, for your Mexican and Hispanic communities to be able to reach out to you in a special way today.
Pues a todos nuestros hermanos mexicanos que continúen caminando en el camino que Dios nos ha puesto, que sigan siendo fuertes en su fe, en sus expresiones de amor hacia Dios, hacia nuestra Madre, la Virgen de Guadalupe, que siempre se sientan orgullosos de su fe, de su cultura, de toda la riqueza que ellos tienen, y que con esa riqueza que tienen enriquezcan la iglesia de aquí de Estados Unidos, que es algo que en lugar de disminuir la fe, la incrementa y la hace más fuerte.
Wow, I love that. I love the idea of enriching the faith of this land with a faith that comes from Mexico to not only this country, but really to the rest of the world. I think there's a lot for the rest of the Catholic world and the rest of the world in total about how to embrace the faith like the Mexican community, like the Mexicans do. So, wow, amazing. I am very, very much, I'm full of great expectations. I'm looking forward to calling you my brother priest
Tomorrow, after
tomorrow. I'm praying that I'll be well enough to be able to vest you tomorrow in the priestly garb. That will be quite an honor to be able to do it. So I am hoping to go to tomorrow. So let's see. Let's just pray that I'll be physically well enough, because I've been having some knee problems. But I'm praying that I'll be able to go and really actually be the priest to vest you tomorrow as well. Please know that you are loved by this community here at St. John Paul II. I think it is very important that we show our love and our support to the seminarians, to the deacons, and to the priests of our communities, because not because we're better than everybody else. It's just that this is a special calling, and it's something holy that we really need to foster and preserve and protect and nurture. And so, for those of you that are going to receive him at Holy Family Church in Shorewood, Illinois, I have to tell you that you are hitting a jackpot right here. I'm a wonderful, wonderful young man, and full of enthusiasm for the faith, and very much willing to continue to grow in the vocation that he's being called to do. So with all that, I want to congratulate you about tomorrow, and let you know that behind you is the purse of so many of us who know you and consider you as a brother, as a friend, and truly as a part of the family of faith here at St. John Paul II. So we can't wait. And I invite all of you all to pray for vocation to the priesthood, to pray for vocations to the diaconate, to pray for vocations to lay ministry as well. But just to pray for the people that are called in a unique way to serve God's people in your own communities, in your own country, especially here in the United States of America. Wherever we may come from, we are called in some way to be of service to God's people, and we count on your prayers and your support and your just constant devotion to the work and ministry of the priesthood. So having said that, God bless you, and
Thank you.
Tomorrow we will see him get ordained at the Cathedral of St. Raymond Donatus in Joliet, and to many, many, many happy, holy, and healthy years of priesthood for you. Okay?
Thank you very much, Father.
On that note, we say thank you for all of you who are listening and tuning in to this interview with Father San Castillo and Deacon Nestor Sanchez. Soon tomorrow to be Reverend Father Nestor Sanchez. And God bless you all, and may the Lord keep you always in his care. Blessed Virgin Mary, bless you also.